I don't know if they were trying to hide it from us by doing it over the weekend, but people definitely noticed. It's the end of a long week, and yesterday I'm scrolling my Twitter timeline Friday night, and all of a sudden, this pops up. The Ethereum Foundation moved 15,000 ETH, which is $30 million, and they moved it over to the Kraken exchange. And they only move ETH to exchanges really for one reason, and that's to dump. Now, as you've probably noticed, that led to some pretty sharp selling to start the weekend. ETH down about 5%, Bitcoin sold off as well, the rest of the altcoin market down 5 to 10%, and I wouldn't be worried if it was just a little 5% dip, but that's not where the story ends, because people also noticed that the Ethereum Foundation is pretty damn good at timing their sells right at the top of the market. And because I was curious, I went through their sell history myself. They're one of the largest holders of Ethereum, so this could have a huge impact if they really do think the top is in. If they create the top, if they're timing the top. I want to see the actual numbers, and you gotta see it for yourself. I just want to say, before I walk you through this, the chart does not tell the full story, so you're gonna want to stick around to the end of the video where I give you a little extra hidden detail that I think people are forgetting. So here it is in all of its glory. This is the trading history of the Ethereum Foundation. Now, the Ethereum Foundation, they hold 2.9 million ETH, not $2.9 million, 2.9 million ETH, and they sell ETH periodically to fund development of the Ethereum ecosystem, right? So they're not a hedge fund. They're not necessarily trying to time the market. They just need to sell ETH so they have money to fund ETH growing, right? So when they sell ETH, it is positive for ETH, but at the same time, because they're such a big holder, sometimes when they sell ETH, it can spook the market. For smaller players, when you're submitting your order in there that's $20,000, $50,000, $100,000, you're trying to time where tops and bottoms are, or at least get close to it. When you're a whale and one of the largest holders, you can actually create tops and bottoms. So if you were to just look at their selling history in 2017, you'd probably not be worried at all about the sell that just took place yesterday. Right back here, they sold 80,000 ETH at $9 all the way through 2017. It looks like they were kind of just selling consistently in these batches all the way up. And then the first time they actually timed the top, this is after like what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 trades, right? One time they sell at the top. I mean, this looks like any average crypto trader or me on a bad week, right? You sell too early, we keep pumping. Yeah, nothing crazy there. Now, them timing the top 2 times in a row, maybe they got lucky. I don't know. I still wouldn't say that they're always timing the top, but 2018 or 2017, right? I guess they did kind of time the exact top for Ethereum. It was the first time we got above $1,000. We topped out around 1,500. That was 2 cycles ago. Interesting note about them selling the top 2 times in a row was it was actually Vitalik who convinced them to sell the 70,000 ETH at the top when the market topped out for like 2 or 3 years. When Bitcoin hit 20K, ETH hit 1,500. It was actually Vitalik with a godlike trade. He said in an interview, this was a few years back, and he said, I did get the Ethereum Foundation to sell 70,000 ETH, like basically at the top, and that's doubled our runway now. So it was one good decision that had a lot of impact. Can't even hate on that. Respect. I mean, that's a hell of a trade. I wish I would have sold the top back then. It would have made 2018 and 19 way easier, right? So, okay, so 2017 wasn't a concern. I don't think there's any reason to panic if they just sold ETH yesterday. Then they timed 2 tops in a row. They got really close to timing the top again in 2019, but still not that crazy. I would say that's a little weird now. They're timing the top 3 times in a row, so a little bit concerned. And then if you look again, not timing the top, then they time the top 2 times. So if we were to actually run the numbers, right, because you're probably thinking to yourself, well, sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. Yesterday's sell-off doesn't mean anything. If you actually ran the numbers of what is their hit rate when they sell, is that actually the top? Are they causing the top, or are they spooking the market to a degree that no one wants to buy ETH if one of the largest holders is selling? All right, so if you look at just their last 7 or 8 sells, top, no, top. I mean, the last cycle, it's honestly a little crazy. I wish I would have had them on tweet notifications, and people should have been paying way closer attention to this. But to sell a giant batch up here when ETH was at 4,000 and then do it again when ETH was at like 4,500 or almost at 5K, that's pretty insane and a little bit scary. Now, obviously, this chart doesn't have yesterday's sell because it ends in 2022, but here's the ETH chart for this year so far. Yeah, we've had a nice run up. I mean, in almost everything, especially in ETH and Bitcoin, ETH's up 50%. Their sell just happened here, right where the market topped before we started selling off today. You just got to kind of pray that they're not going to continue this hot streak of selling the top 5 of the last 7 times. I mean, that's more than 50% of their sells led to giant sell-offs, things like 40, 50% sell-offs. That happened 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I mean, that's, it's not good. Just for fun, let's walk through the worst case scenario if they did sell the top again or create a top and we have another 40, 50% sell-off like we have 5 of the last 7 times they've sold. So if we look at that for ETH right now, yesterday's sell-up was right at 2,000, right at 1,900 something. Oh my God. Oh, wow. Yeah, we'd be down at like $1,100, $1,000. 30% sell-off or 25% sell-off would still be that's not even fun to look at. Now, I just want to be really clear. I don't think that's what's going to happen. I don't think we're going to get the 40, 50% drop for ETH. I don't want that to be your takeaway. I don't want you to panic. And I'm not just saying that because I don't want you to sell, right? I actually believe this. There's some bullish news that kind of cancels out the fact that the Ethereum Foundation is selling yesterday, some hidden details that kind of make it not so bad. So I'm going to cover that next. But I just had to show you guys the numbers because the brain has a funny way of really just remembering the bad things. It's like why you remember your biggest losses, but sometimes you can't remember your biggest wins as good. I think it's a survival instinct that people developed. But now as humans have evolved into their current state where we just gamble on things like Ethereum, Bitcoin, and Pepe coin, it has transformed into just remembering your biggest trading losses and forgetting the 10Xs you caught. So just wanted to give you guys the actual numbers. They're not a godlike hedge fund, but over the past 2 or 3 years, it's a little scary how good they've been, which is understandably why we're getting a sharp sell-off to start the weekend and why some people are actually panicking. This move today was partially driven by the Ethereum Foundation selling their ETH, right? It's never just one thing, but you also can't ignore that traders saw this right when it happened, right? When this transaction gets tweeted out, I mean, it's fair to be a little bit worried. And then, I told people how often they time the tops. We weren't the only 2 traders to see this and to notice it. And I actually don't think it's bad that we tweeted it out and warned people. I actually had some people reach out on Twitter and say, you're spreading panic. You shouldn't have said that. We wouldn't have sold off as much. And I hate to break it to you guys, but there's whales and traders that are far larger, way more sophisticated, that are always going to be on top of this stuff. So if I notice something quick and I can spread info that helps people make some money or just not lose money, I'm always going to do it. And the market was going to react like this, whether we noticed it or not, because the people with way bigger portfolios were definitely going to notice it, right? So the Ethereum Foundation probably caused a little bit of the sell-off. And then obviously there's a chain reaction as other people sell and say, well, they've caused some tops in the past. That's a big seller. I need to take some profits, things like that. So what does this mean for you? And why doesn't the chart tell the full story? It's because there's some nuances that you need to keep in mind. And this is the good news. So I'm glad you stuck around to hear this because this, I think, matters equally as much, even though most people just saw the headline. Reason number 1 is because the 15,000 ETH they sold is still a really small number compared to their other sales. It's a giant number to me and to you and to anyone, I guess, except for Vitalik and Elon Musk, but it's one of the smallest trades in the past 4 or 5 years for them. Another reason I'm not as concerned is because we just lived through, 2 or 3 weeks of people making ridiculous money on meme coins like Pepe. I'm sure some of that money had trickled into Ethereum. People started levering up, taking more risk on alts in general. I saw it personally. I mean, even myself in the past week, it was like, God, I should be buying everything right now, right? We have meme coins doing this. So the sell-off today was probably a little bit worse because people were using more leverage. The vibes were high. I would say borderline almost reckless towards the end of this week. So that's an important detail because we probably wouldn't have sold off that sharp and maybe even not this much if we didn't have people gambling on so many coins, getting super confident, getting super bullish on everything just because meme coins are going up. That does factor in here. And here's the most important one that I actually think completely neutralizes or cancels out the negative impact from that major ETH sell today. There's a bullish development that's been building on ETH, and it just got accelerated actually in the last week, which is that the ETH supply is shrinking faster than ever. When you have absurd amounts of people using Uniswap to jump in and out of these meme coins, right? People were excited. Everyone was betting on meme coins. People were using decentralized exchanges way more often than they have in a long time. More transactions than usual. People paying high gas to ensure their trades go through. All of that combined. So we have a scenario where the ETH supply is going down. It's actually deflationary, more deflationary than ever. It's declining at a faster rate than it ever has. And even if that activity is caused by something as dumb as meme coins, objectively, you cannot argue this. The fundamentals are better for ETH when this is happening. So here's the setup. You have ETH fundamentals getting stronger at the same time that we're getting a little panic, which is causing a sell-off. So lower prices, better fundamentals, it's not the worst deal. Now here's my honest take. This is how I'm thinking through this. The major ETH sale today actually doesn't change my view. I'm still bullish on Bitcoin and ETH this year. The charts still look amazing if you look at how they've done in 2023. It could be choppy all year where we might have some up months. We might have these 10 and 20% drops where people think it's all over. But still, for what it's worth, my outlook on the year for Bitcoin and ETH is unchanged. I think the worst of it is behind us on the macro side of things. And yeah, Vitalik selling, it's a little bit scary. I mean, I think it's fair to be scared. How can you not be scared when you see this guy selling ETH? So there you have it. That's the full story. When you see a headline that's this negative, I know it causes some people to freak out, but you guys deserve to see the numbers. I was super curious for myself. So yeah, they've been good in the past, but there's also some things I think that cancel that out, and it's one of their smallest sells. If you learned anything or you enjoy these quick little market updates, drop a like and subscribe so you catch them. I'm going to keep dropping them every single day. If you missed the video, I actually recommend you go back and watch it. I'll link it right down below. I think there's a much bigger opportunity than meme coins that's coming after, so you don't even have to trade the meme coins if you don't want. If you think it's a dumb trend, that's fair. I kind of do too. You don't want to be too late to Pepe and buy the top. I recommend you watch that one. I still think there's a pretty giant opportunity coming. That's all I got. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.